I'm going to read the test, and the test will be translated into another language. Question 1. Which of the following questions will be considered statistical? A. What is the favorite subject of fifth graders at my school? B. What is my favorite sport? C. How old is the music teacher? D. How far do you walk to school? Number 2. Which of the following questions is not considered statistical? A. What is the shoe size of the students in my class? B. How much did the students in my class pay for a pair of shoes? C. How long have you owned a pair of shoes? D. How many pairs of shoes do my classmates own? 3. Which of the following groups is not considered a sample of the United States population? A. Women who live in the United States. B. People who are registered to vote in the United States. C. Europeans who vacation in the United States. D. Students who attend public school in the United States. Number 4. A company surveyed all the employees in their Columbus, Ohio office, and one of their. Let me read it again, sorry. A company surveyed all of the employees in their Columbus, Ohio office, one of their 6 national offices. Based on the survey, they determined that 72% of employees were satisfied with their job. Which of the following explains why this is not a random sample? A. They only surveyed people who had been at their job for 5 years or more. B. They did not survey employees in other offices around the country. C. The survey was conducted electronically. And D. The survey had a time limit. 5. The number of children's movie tickets sold over a period of week is shown below. What is the mean number of movie tickets sold during the week? A. 17, B. 21, C. 18, D. 16. Number 6. Determine the interquartile range of the data below. A. 11, B. 16, C. 5, D. 14. Next, use the chart below to answer questions 7 and 8. A random sample of 40 students from each grade level was surveyed during the. I'll read it again. Use the chart below to answer questions 7 and 8. A random sample of 40 students from each grade level was surveyed regarding their preference for a class field trip. 7th grade, 12 people chose zoo. 18 people chose museum. 10 people chose sports complex. 8th grade, 14 people chose the zoo. 19 people chose the museum. And 7 people chose the sport complex. So number 7, if there are 220 members of the 7th grade class, then how many members can be expected to prefer the zoo? 8. If there are 180 members, Number 8, if there are 180 members of the 8th grade class, what percent prefer either the museum or the sports complex? Number 9, compare the 2 box plots. Which of the following is true? A. Class B has a higher median of siblings. B. Class A has a greater variability in the number of siblings. C. Over half the students in Class B have 3 or more siblings. D. Both Class A and B have students who are only children. 10. A middle school has 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students. Which of the following would be a random sample of the students? A. Surveying all the teachers. B. Serving the students who buy their lunch in the cafeteria. C. Serving everyone whose last name begins with a G. And D. Serving every 10th student who is on the class rosters. 11. Students record the number of minutes they read a book. The box plot shows a summary of the results. Which statement best describes the data? A. A quarter of the students read for 30 to 40 minutes. B. The interquartile range is 30. C. About half of the students read for 50 minutes or more. D. The average number of students, D. The average D. The average number of minutes read was 47. 12. The dot plot shows the number of hours the students in Mrs. Farrell's class volunteer each month. Which of the following statements is not correct? A. There are a total of 17 students in Mrs. Farrell's class. B. Exactly 7 students volunteered for less than 7 hours. C. Less than half of the students volunteer for 9 hours or more. D. The range of the data is 5 hours. 13. Choose the best description of how the data sets shown below compare to one another. A. They have similar variabilities and different centers. B. They have similar centers and different variabilities. C. The centers and variabilities are similar. D. They have different centers and different variabilities. Mrs. Moore's and Mrs. Hernandez's class are competing for the best scores on their math test. Use the box plot below to answer questions 14 and 15. Which of the following statements does not represent the data? The scores in Mrs. Hernandez's class have less variability than the scores in Mrs. Moore's class. The median of Mrs. Moore's class is equal to the first quartile of Mrs. Hernandez's class. C. The interquartile range of both classes is equal. D. None of the statements above represent the data. 15. Which of the following represents the difference in centers of Mrs. Moore's class and Mrs. Hernandez's class? 16. The results for a survey of 120 students who were randomly selected are listed below. 60 students have a cell phone plan with company X. 36 students have a cell phone company. Let me start again, please. 16. The results for a survey of 120 students who were randomly selected are listed below. 60 students have a cell phone plan with company X. 36 students have a cell phone plan with company Y. 24 students do not have a cell phone. The total population of students was 308. Based on the data, what is the best approximation for the total number of students who have a cell phone plan with company Y? 17. The data set shown below represents the distribution of daily high temperatures in a city for 8 days. What is the median daily high temperature in degrees Fahrenheit in the city? 18. Mrs. Brown trains a group of student athletes. He wants to know how they are improving in the number of sit-ups they can do. The following plots show the number of sit-ups each student was able to do last month and this month. By how much did the mean number of sit-ups increase from last month to this month, rounded to the nearest tenth? 19. 2 math classes took the same quiz. The scores of 10 randomly selected students from each class are listed below. Based on the medians of the scores for each class, what inference would you make about the quiz scores of all the students in Class A compared to all the students in Class B? Explain your reasoning to justify your answer. 20. 20. A teacher surveys a random group of students about their preference of doing classwork online or on paper. The results are shown in the table. Online, 17 students. Paper, 8 students. Based on the results, how many students out of 350 will most likely have a preference to do their classwork online? Show your results.